Welcome back, y'all, to the Heavy Hitters podcast. I'm your boy Jay, and on today's episode, I'm gonna talk to y'all about the three original pioneers of the women's division. Before I jump into that, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Go check out all the videos. B dropped a video on James Harden choking in the playoffs, and Shamar has dropped a video as well. Make sure y'all go check them out. Show my boys some love. But on today's episode, I'm gonna talk about the original three pioneers of women's wrestling who were years beyond their time. Now, we do know about the four horsewomen of WWE. That's Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Charlotte Flair. But before that, maybe even 10 years before they even came up, we had Lita, Trish, and Mickie James. Now, Lita and Trish, they came in around the same time, early 2000s, late 90s, and they were basically just valets. Like, Trish was with, I believe she was with I can't remember who she was with. I think she was with the Dudley Boys for a little while, but I do know for a fact Lita was with the Hardy Boys, and at that point, Trish really wasn't all too physical. She won a few matches. Lita was really the one doing all the stunts and everything. But then as time grew on, they became kind of like the female version, like Randy Orton and John Cena, to the point where they started having feuds and things like that over the women's championship. Now, they were completely opposite of each other. Trish was the blonde, bad, just super fine female. The chick you would take out, like, make sure you dress up real nice for. You'd go all out for it. Lita was really like the rock punk chick, and I think that's really what made their rivalry even better. That they were polar opposites of each other. Now, they had probably one of the greatest female feuds of all time. They main evented Raw, and at that time that was a big deal. That was the first time women had ever main evented Raw in late 2004 for the women's championship. And you think about that spot where Lita almost breaks her neck doing the suicide dive onto Trish Stratus. And you could tell, like, all right, now these two are like, okay, we should take their feud serious. They're not just having throwaway 5-minute matches on Raw, bra and panties matches. Nah, they're actually serious competitors, and they got a real story. And you could tell, like, they had great chemistry, and they were just made to feud with each other. Eventually, Mickie James comes along in 2005, and she was another one. She was a very, very talented wrestler. She came in really as Trish's like maniac super fan, and she was stalking her and things like that, just really obsessed and really wanted Trish Stratus's acceptance. Now, this feud really got stretched out for a long time. It was great storytelling. Their feud was basically, I'm obsessed with you so much, I'm like almost in love with you. And it turned into basically where Mickie James was like an obsessed, like, she like romantically obsessed with Trish Stratus, to the point where she changed her theme song, and she changed like her hair and everything, and she was just trying to be like, she was walking and talking and doing all these things like Trish. And it led into their feud going to WrestleMania 22, where Mickie James, she was just trying to do her part as her character, where she like licked her, she put like the V up, and she like licked like in between, like, really just like family oriented. And basically what I'm trying to say is these three female were the original three. Well, I guess I'll say the three horsewomen of WWE. I feel like these three, without these three paving the way, we wouldn't really have a Becky or a Charlotte and these type of like great stories today where Sasha and Charlotte, they get to main event Raw. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte, their main event in WrestleMania. I feel like none of that would have been possible without Mickie James, Trish Stratus, and Lita paving the way for all the great females today, where they're not just about looks and like bra and panty matches. They're actually about putting on the best matches and having some of the best stories and some of the most believable characters. Trish Stratus, she held the record for a while as the 7-time women's champion. Basically, Charlotte's about to shatter that. She's already got 10. And then if you want to include her 2 NXT titles, that puts her at 12 championships in total in WWE. But, it's just basically me just looking back on the past and comparing the females of yesteryear to today and how they've evolved so much. I really do appreciate the fact that I got to see Lita, Trish, and Mickie James have their great feuds and their great rivalries. And like I said, paved the way for people like Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Asuka, and all these things. Now women main event in Raw and main event pay-per-views are no big deal. But back then, 15, 16 years ago, that was unreal. That was not even talked about. They were having 5-minute matches and everything. That's really all I wanted to say. Basically, the three pioneers of women's wrestling of yesteryear to the 4 horsewomen and to all the other great women wrestlers out there and to all the other great women stories we've got over the past 5 years, 6 years. I feel like, and just to throw another person out there, AJ Lee was really another pioneer of the women's division. She kind of reminded me, and it's kind of funny today, she's kind of like the female CM Punk, where she was just so cold on the mic, and she was real controversial in how great she was, and like, even though her character was a little bit like, what do I want to say, like kind of sexist, where it's like all women are crazy kind of thing, but just to see like the improvement over the years, where now I kind of get excited about like some of the women's matches now, like now having great women's matches, that's no big deal. But like I said, 15 years ago, that was another conversation. So that's just me comparing women of yesteryear to today. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. Your boys are on their way to our first 100 subscribers. And we're really working, we're really grinding to give y'all daily content every day. Shamar is doing NFL content. Eventually, I will be putting some boxing content out. So, like I said, your boys are on their way to the top. Like, share, subscribe. I'm your boy Jay, and I'm out.